Hi there, I'm David Icke, and we're here to talk about writing. This is the sixth part of a series that I've been doing on the shape of a short story. Now, I'm using Dan Wells' 7-point plot system as a guide, and kind of smushing it together with Lester Dent's pulp paper master fiction plot. We're talking about short stories specifically, but with a few modifications, you could use these concepts for any length of story, really, because it's a very traditional Western story form. And like I keep saying, you can trace us back all the way to Aristotle if you want to. Now, this isn't the only way to write a story. It's just one very good way, very effective. You're going to get a great story if you follow this structure. Now, in this sixth video, I want to talk about the big setback. The big setback is the transition point between the third and fourth quarters of your story. So in a 6,000 word story, it's somewhere at the end of the third quarter, about 4,500 words in, and it's that transition point. And this is where you're going to take your protagonist and you're going to hand him his biggest loss yet. You're going to kick his legs out from under him completely. Leave him alone, leave him stripped of all his support, nothing left. All is lost. That's the big setback. It's a great time for another twist, some sort of surprising development, a secret revealed perhaps. And that twist is a great opportunity to give your protagonist the final key to his problems. So in the midst of that biggest setback of all, he's going to obtain the capability to overcome the main conflict and achieve his desire. So the key may be as simple as giving him the confidence he needs. That could be all it is, or it could be an insight into some weakness of the villain. Use your imagination and use the story that you've already developed. And twists they're hard, and so there are some traps to avoid. We've talked about these before, but I want to go over them again. You want to think about the story from your reader's perspective. So what would the reader expect to happen? And that's the obvious, and you can eliminate that. Then consider what would the reader hate to happen, and that's the odious. So you want to eliminate that too. So you want to eliminate the obvious and the odious. And once you've eliminated those possibilities, whatever's left, those are just surprises, and that's what you want to go for. So that big setback twist, though, it needs to really hit your protagonist hard. Because remember, from the midpoint on, he's been making some progress. He's been going through those try-fail cycles and starting to see progress toward his goals of whatever desire he's trying to achieve. Now, you're going to take him, you're going to knock him down, shove his face in the mud. Now, whatever happens, it needs to follow logically from what you've already established in the story. You can't just bring something out of nowhere. You've got to support it with the logic of the story that you've already developed and use it through that logic of what's already been developed. You want to give your protagonist that final key. So once you have your twist, what you can do, if it doesn't quite follow logically, you can go back and adjust your story to support it. And you can go back to your previous three quarters. You can plant false clues to misdirect the reader. And then you can plant some subtle but true clues. And a good place to put them is in the middle of action when your reader's already distracted with what's going on in the story. You want to keep those clues subtle, but then you can follow up on them later in your twist, and your reader's going to read that and say, wow, this guy's a genius. So anyway, it just needs to make sense. It needs to follow logically from the previous events. And once you've done that, you've got your big setback. And we're going to leave our protagonist down in the mud, and next time, we're going to look at the resolution and how you get your protagonist out of the mud. So if you're looking forward to that, please go down there and hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell so that you know when I release that next video. And if you found this helpful, please hit the thumbs up button as well and let me know. That's really helpful if you could do that. Finally, I have a question for you. In the story that you're working on, what is the big setback? How are you knocking the feet out from under your protagonist? Please let me know down in the comments. Let me know what ideas you have for really making your protagonist suffer, and I will look forward to seeing you down there. Until then, keep writing.